Welcome to Drum and Drummer, a podcast focused on drums, drumming and drummers. I'm George Pickering and that's Ben Winty, and we are both professional drummers in this business we call music. So stick around and join us as we pass the time whilst trying to stay in time.
I'll tell you what fucks me off more than a wall.
Go on.
When you play in a teepee. Oh, George, that's incredibly funny what you just told me. It's a shame we weren't recording.
And it's a shame I'll never say it again.
Never say it again.
Match the humour of what I said.
Yeah, it was Peak Pickering.
Peak Pickering, yeah.
Peak Pickering's my favourite person.
Peak Pickering. Not to be
Pickering.
confused with Pete Pickering.
No. Do you have a relative called Pete Pickering?
No, I've got an uncle called Pete, but he is not,
He's not a Pickering.
He's not a Pickering.
It's from the other side, the dark side.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, welcome to Drum and
side.
Drummer.
Yeah.
We're back, of course. Hope you enjoyed our chat last week.
Yep.
Mr. Jacob Andrews. If you're not, go back and listen. It's very good stuff. Right.
Definitely.
We're going to bosh one out because we are the last minute Larrys. We are doing this. We're doing this Wednesday night, basically.
Yeah.
It is Wednesday night.
Yeah. Do you know what? Jack Hickling messaged me this morning. He said, I woke up this morning and I was out at 6:30 and I thought, I'll put on Drum and Drummer. And he went, hang on, it's not there. What's going on? He said, this is the first time in 2 years I've got up on a Thursday, it's not there. And then I went, it's not Thursday, is it? You know?
Yeah.
And I said, that is funny, Jack. But to be fair, we haven't actually done the episode yet. So, might happen. But also, it won't,
Keep an eye on him because he might need to go into a home. Right, what you got to talk about? Should we talk about the BOXPARK Wembley?
Talk about the book because you said you were gonna. We talk about it properly rather than just brushing over it.
Yeah. So
the chat with Jacob.
You played at the BOXPARK Wembley. That's the bit you see when England play football.
Yeah.
There's a camera, always a camera.
Yeah.
When England score, it's like a big square thing.
Yeah.
Everyone throws their beers in the air.
Exactly.
Is that the right place? Is that the place?
Yeah. It's one of them. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Am I right in assuming?
Sorry, what did you say?
I sort of said insuming, but I meant to say assuming.
Yeah.
Put me in a fucking home. Who was playing? Tell me what was going on. Why are you playing the BOXPARK Wembley?
So, country artist Luke Combs did 3 nights at Wembley Stadium, which is mental.
Is that all?
Well, it's mad though, isn't it? Because you just think, who is listening to country music that you know personally? It's not.
No one. Can't think of anyone. Can't think of anyone at all.
But you think about the other week when I did that country festival in Chichester, 4,000 people there. I don't know one person in that area that has ever expressed an interest. Yeah. But I do. So
I don't know anyone who watches Mrs. Brown's Boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, 8 million people do. But I don't know any of them.
No, exactly. Yeah.
Don't want to know any of them.
Though, innit? Yeah, do you want to know them?
Not really.
But anyway, so Luke Combs was playing.
I'm sure some of them live around here.
Probably next door to you. Because I've seen their garden, and that looks like a Mrs. Brown's Boys viewing garden. So Luke Combs was playing Wembley on the Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And on the Friday and Saturday, Luke Combs UK, the top tribute to Luke Combs, whose drummer we will have on at some point. I keep forgetting to ask him, even though him and I seem to play every festival every week. But they played BOXPARK, which makes sense, It's like Luke Combs tribute at BOXPARK, which is en route to Wembley Stadium, and you can go there on the way. It makes sense to be like, because it's open from like 11 a.m. BOXPARK before the gig. So say you want to get there early and just have a drink and chill out before going to Wembley Stadium, you can do that. And then you're about to watch Luke Combs for real. And then lo and behold, at 4 p.m., there's a tribute, So then you watch that. So their gigs were really good.
But to me, that's mental.
It's a lot. It's
to
a lot
me,
of the
that's
same
mental.
Thing, isn't it? It's a lot of the same thing.
Mental that someone would plan that.
Yeah.
Like everyone's coming to Wembley to see Luke Combs.
This act, yeah.
So what does that tell you? I mean, people want more. No, there's too much.
Yeah.
But then why would you, if you're then going to see Luke Combs, why would you go and see someone else do all this stuff?
Good question. Very good question.
Why?
I think not to.
If it's
rude.
for people who can't get into Wembley, can't see.
No, these people are going to the gig.
Oh
no, but I
they need to sort
think
themselves
I know.
out.
I think I know why. Because not to be rude about the fan base, which pays my rent, but I think they're a simple folk. I mean, that is being rude about them. But do you know what I mean? It's sort of like they don't really care what the songs are or who's doing it. As long as it's the country hits they know, you know, they just you see them at every festival. It's like as long as they play the classic country bangers, they could probably go all day. You could just give them some beer and then these modern country hits, and they probably don't care if it's the tribute or the real thing, you know. But then
you're right to call them simple.
Yeah.
Because I can picture it. I can absolutely picture this.
Yeah.
I don't care what's playing it, whether it's the real Luke Combs, a tribute, or a fucking robot. It doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just all about the rock, flag, and eagle.
AI country lyrics, you know. Then they're fine.
You can't have enough songs about denim shorts and trucks and a beer.
Exactly.
You can't have enough.
You think they've done it all, but there's somehow more. So, I mean, it's mental for the Luke Combs tribute to go on before the real Luke Combs down the road, but I'd say it's more mental for a tribute that's not that to do it. So this is where, we got a message literally a few days before, you know, it was due to happen saying, do you guys want to play BOXPARK, you know, before Luke Combs? It's sold out. There'll be 3,000 people there. And instantly, like, some members of the band are getting excited. And I am not as excited about things as I used to be, you know? I'm 31 now. And I wouldn't say I'm a pessimist, but I'm a realist, you know? I was going, sure, the number sounds great. But is it our 3,000 people, you know? No, it's not. So we get there, load in, sound check.
Plus, you're also thinking, I've got to fucking drive to Wembley.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's the most stressful bit, right? Yeah. Thankfully, Ben Hudd drives us, which is a blessing. But it was weird because, I don't know. I was talking to Georgie, the singer, about it afterwards. And she thought the same thing. It was like, it seems exciting because you've got this whole crowd, but most of them don't give a shit. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Genuinely. It's like, you just look out and people on their phones.
That's been most of the crowds of my entire life, boy.
So, well, it's just like, they're on their phones or they're chatting or whatever. But I was kind of like, well, I get it though. You know, if I'm going to go to a gig in the evening at 8 p.m, I've already had a long day. You know, whatever. I'll go to BOXPARK, sure. But I might just want to get a beer and hang out, you know. Maybe I haven't seen my mates for a while, you know. And if there's a band on stage, I don't know. And also, when I watch videos back, like when they were filming from like way far back, it was almost like we were drowned out just by the crowd because it was so loud in there. It was just, you know, it was 3,000 people chatting, having drunk chats, you know. So it's a weird one because obviously, I sent you that picture of us on stage. And it looks great, but it was also like, it was that classic thing, and I'm sure musicians listening will get this, where I'd prefer to play, let's say, the Wedgwood Rooms, and it's packed out, you know, 500 people or whatever, than to play Portsmouth Guildhall, and you've got 500 people, but it's spaced out. You know, it's that thing where, and they don't care, you know. It was great to do it, but it was also kind of like, I think we all sort of went, was that worth it? You know what I mean? Like, and in a way it was, because there was a few people listening who seemed to enjoy it, and you're going, well, every gig is, I don't know, a learning experience or like whatever. You know, it's we might gather some people who hadn't seen us before, but at the same time, it is draining when you're playing to like, I don't know, that big a room and that many people. And you're looking out and people are just not even looking at the stage. They're just looking the other way. You're like giving it everything here. And it's just like, no, nothing. So,
well, that's the different, you know, that's what's not a realisation I have at weddings, but where you get the satisfaction from with things. And you go into music wanting to perform, wanting to write, wanting to, you know, show off your creativity or your skills or your whatever. And then when you do weddings, you're like, and then suddenly you're like, when you're in the early days of it, you do one, and you're like, oh, people don't care. Yeah. And it's like, because, you know, you are entertainment. not the entertainment.
Yeah, exactly.
I always often think with like festivals, played loads of festivals with Gypsy Hill and a few with Oxygen Thief and, a lot of the big ones, lots of smaller ones. And you kind of think like, who gives a shit about like all these little stages dotted around? Like, and you see local acts play Victoria, so you're like, it's just a fucking tent. It's not even a stage. Like, but you strip away all those little bits and you just leave yourself the top two stages. Well, then it's boring because it's just the same as anyone else. Yeah. And it is all about all the other things that you just stumble upon. It's all the other things that are just there that you're like, oh, that sounds cool. Yeah. And that's where Gypsy Hill was. Like, we weren't a known band or anything, but we played music that appealed to a lot of people that had a vibe. And we mentioned the other week, like when you're at this just after Stevie Wonder or you're on at the same time as the big band. Well, not everyone wants that, and they come around, oh, this sounds cool. And they come in, and it's that all those extra things that make up the vibe. And I think with, you guys playing at BOXPARK, you're not the reason they're there. No. You're not the reason people are there. But if you're not there, if BOXPARK isn't open and people just go to Wembley and watch Luke Combs, it's boring. Yeah. So in a grand sense, like they obviously want to see him. Yeah. But you are part of a bigger picture of creating entertainment and activity for people to do. And whether they take it or leave it is up to them. Yeah. But it's an important thing. However, as performers, when you do that, you can go, what was the point? It's not feeding that sense of your satisfaction. No. Sometimes the satisfaction can be gained by just getting paid or it being easy, but when you get that, there is a big difference, as you say, between playing lots of people or playing to a smaller amount who are there to see you. It can be a very different story, and it's difficult. It is.
It is, and it's that thing where it's when you play to a crowd like that, especially where it's big and doesn't seem like they're into it, you can very quickly lose interest. And one of the best things about Georgie, who is fantastic, is that she will just put on a show, whatever. If she's got the crowd on her side, then she'll do it. If no one's even watching, she'll still be like, get those hands up, And if like 4 people do it out of 3,000, then it's kind of like, it's, well, we've got those 4. Because you're also thinking...
Because someone is watching.
Someone is watching.
It might be a small percentage.
Exactly.
But if they can tell you're phoning it in or you don't care, then they're done with you. Exactly. But some people detect the enthusiasm. We did so many shows opening on tours with Oxygen Thief, and you're playing to the room's half full. Yeah. Not even half full, something. You're on at 6:30 because there's a club night at 11. Yeah. You're on really early. People are there early just to get to the front because they want to see the other bands. Yeah. It's like, but this is the chance to impress. This is the chance to convert people to what we're doing. They're not here they're not here because of us, but maybe we can convert them to enjoy what we do. Yeah, totally. By giving it full beans.
Full beans, you got to give it full beans no matter what. Yeah. So because then, when you get to a gig where they are up for it, it's like, oh yeah, now I can really give it full beans.
But then, so many people, on Instagram, not just drummers, other musicians, like backstage at Boardmasters or doing this and doing this. I mean, it's great, but they probably could have exactly the same situation where... Yeah, they play. There's people there, but they don't care. They don't put that on the Instagram.
Yeah. And it's interesting the way I had a long chat with Georgie about this. And I said, look, I'm not telling you what to do, but if you get some promoter in your ear going, oh, it's 3,000 tickets sold and it's going to be great, it's going to be amazing, don't believe it. Like, think for yourself. Like, not telling them to think for yourself, but it's just kind of like, just turn up with no expectations, like... if you expect anything, then you expect too much. It's a phrase I like, where it's like, just turn up and be like, okay, let's see what happens, because the ones that were the best ones were the ones where before you go on, you're like, this looks shit, and look at the stupid stage. And you're like, oh my God, we packed that tent out. That's happened twice this year. Where you're like, oh, fucking hell, they were the good ones. And then you turn up to other ones where it's like a big stage and you're told all this stuff, and then, it's not that good.
Let's talk panic attacks.
Well, I didn't know whether to tell you before. I didn't even know whether to talk about this on the podcast.
I think you should.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't know whether to tell you before I did it or just go in, but I told you. So yeah, I mean, so the weekend was a long weekend. 2 gigs with the Laney lot. We did Northampton on the Saturday. That was good. You know, it was in like Corby area. A bit of a mad crowd. Paramedics and security having to be called to different areas of the crowd because there were fights going on or people passed out and been taken away in stretchers. Like we turned up and we were like, "That do they need paramedics? Do they need 4 paramedics here?" And then by the end, you're like, "I don't think that's enough." You know, this is insane. Like we're trying to play the gig. Oh, and also they had some cheerleaders come on and dance while we did Hang Tight Honey, which I put on my Instagram story yesterday, if you're listening on the day this drops, which was a pleasant surprise. Who wouldn't want that, you know? And it very much makes it so no one is watching me if 9 cheerleaders are in front of me. But anyway, so that was that. And then we knew we had to be in. So this was the weekend that we knew logistically would be mental. So we finished our gig in Corby at, I want to say 9:30. I think we were on at 8, so finish at 9:30. I think that's right. And then we had to figure out how to get to Aberdeen for 2 p.m. the next day. So we're in Northampton, and Aberdeen is about an 8-hour drive or something.
Yeah, it's far.
It's far. I mean,
Yeah,
it's like Glasgow to Aberdeen is far, you know? Glasgow to Northampton is far, you know? So anyway, we decided to stay in Carlisle. We drove up. We got there at like 1 a.m. or something. And then we needed to leave at about 7 Sunday to get to maybe like 7 or 8. I can't remember. Anyway, we had to get to Aberdeen. But it's all a bit mad, and you're not eating properly, and you don't really sleep well, and it's hot, and you're in a van for ages. And I got to the gig. It was a summer in Nashville, so you know where you are with them. And I just started feeling unwell, you know. I was like, something's not right, you know. I don't know what it is. Like, I just felt really headachy and sort of like a watery mouth, like kind of sick. Like, I was like, something's wrong, you know. But I didn't want to tell anyone because much like, as you know, I think
that's a common feeling when entering Scotland.
Yeah, I think so.
I feel awful.
I feel so shit. But as you know, from that time we were at the Old Blacksmiths playing darts, I won't tell people I'm ill until I really can't cope in it. Do you remember that night when we were playing darts?
I remember. Yeah,
and I was like, Ben, I don't feel very well, you know, and then that was it. You were like, fuck, Jesus, what's wrong? So, yeah, and we were just like, it was getting closer to stage time. I was like, oh, I'm not in a good way. I'm really not all there. Like, I don't know what's going on. And I got on stage, and I think it was a mixture of being on the road, and I probably hadn't eaten enough. I was probably dehydrated. I was knackered. Like, I hadn't slept well all week. I kept thinking like, oh, I'll catch up on sleep tomorrow. And then I wouldn't. And then before you know it, you're in Aberdeen about to play a gig. You're like,
just one more wank.
Yeah. So that's the idea of people close to me listening. Oh, poor George, you had a panic attack. Throw that in. But then, yeah, so
keeping it light.
Keep it light. Yeah. Don't want it all depressing. But no, we went on stage, and the first song I was like, oh, I'm not well. This is not good. Like, I just felt just sick. I was like, this isn't like awful.
Did you feel like you were gonna be physically sick?
Yeah, I
Was
think
that on
so.
the
And
cards?
I'm not someone that vomits like much.
I've never seen you vomit.
No, exactly. So
For tree falls in the wood.
Exactly.
With no one around, you know.
So I was like,
if George vomits on stage, but no one's paying attention.
certainly.
Was he sick?
Because there's
Was he sick in the BOXPARK
There's
Wembley?
9 cheerleaders in front of him. But no, so I was like,
Yeah, just a picture of you vomiting, and then the BOXPARK Wembley, they have a pints go up. You like cutting footage of an England goal.
But
anyway.
But yeah, no. So I wasn't in a good way, and I was just trying to concentrate on just doing the drums, you know, just like stay in time with the click and just play the beats. But I was, you know, any fills were just falling apart, and like people were coming out, like band members, like, hey, trying to vibe with me. I was like, yeah, like just not with it. And then we got to, this is where it got scary. We got to Hang Tight Honey, which is kind of like the most, I don't know, upbeat part of the set in a way. Definitely the part I go for it most. and I started to feel really faint. Like I'd already felt faint, but then it started to be like when your vision goes white and almost tunnel vision. Imagine that. So you're playing a festival, there's screens, you're on the TV screens and stuff, there's people as far as you can see, and you're going, oh shit, I'm about to faint, I'm going to pass out now. So then that really got my heart rate going, because I was like, I don't know what to do. Like all I can do is just keep playing, you know. And I was very close to going up to Chris and be like, we have to cut the set short because I'm not well, you know. But I didn't, and we got through it. And then it was like a rush to get off stage, and then I put everything down. And you know, we're honest on this podcast. What would be the point in doing a podcast if we're not? But I wasn't well. I don't know what happened. It was just complete overwhelmed from everything. And I sort of went, I kind of wanted to talk to someone in the band, but like only one, just be like, hey, I'm not in a good way. I'm going to go take 5, you know, but I couldn't find anyone. I just started crying behind this tent. You know, I hadn't cried in ages. I think it was just like, it all hit me. It was just like, and then that was it. And I went up to Chris.
That's what Aberdeen does to you.
Well, yeah, exactly. And I was wearing sunglasses, and I said to Chris, I tried to say it really quick so I could run away. I was like, Chris, I'm not in a very good way, and I'm going to go take 5, okay? But as I was saying it, it was complete just meltdown, you know, just crying. He was like, whoa, like, what the fuck, you know?
Wasn't that bad, George?
Yeah, your fills weren't that awful. But no, he was, you know, shout out to Chris. He got me to control my breathing, and then Jimmy kind of looked after me after that, and he was sort of talking me through it and stuff, and it was a complete panic attack. But just from a mixture of everything, you know, it's just kind of like the freaking out on stage and then the overwhelming. I don't know, I think just from being knackered, and it did feel like it was just like, I always joke about how busy I am, you know, not in a kind of, not the cunty musician busy thing I hate, where like, oh, I'm so busy, I can't do any more gigs. But like just in general, like I feel like I'll have a mad weekend, then I'll come and do this podcast and be like, right, this happened, and then I'll go to work for the week and then go on to, yeah. And, you know, I think that was almost like the sort of end of it, because after I, you know, calmed down, I felt all right, you know. But I think it was almost like, it was like a burnout. It was like a breaking point of just like, that's enough.
I've had those. Your body just goes, no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
This is too much.
No.
And I did think,
you fucked it.
I did think, do I talk
multiple
about this?
poor life choices?
Yeah, exactly. And I did think, do I talk about this on the podcast? And I was like, yeah, absolutely, I talk about it on the podcast, because I'm sure loads of people have been in that situation, you know. It would be nice to be all cool, like, yeah, man, I played in fucking Scotland. It was all good.
It's a shame, really, because it's it's your body's way of telling you, like, working a job and then going to Scotland every weekend is not a good idea.
No.
It's not a sustainable form of life.
No, it's
for
not.
anyone.
No, when you literally have to think, okay, let me just get to October. Not even get to the weekend. Get to 2 months' time, you know? Like, that's probably a sign that you should rein it in a bit. But not to make this like therapy, but it is sometimes.
Yeah.
But
and as your therapist, I hope the lessons learned are tell someone if you're not feeling very well.
Yeah, do you know? Yeah.
And 2, does the band have an acoustic song they can do?
Well,
if you need to run off for a little vom.
Yeah, exactly. Do you know what? Chris came up to me after I calmed down. He was like, look, I don't mean this in a mean way, or I can't remember what he said, but he was just like, if you feel like that, tell someone, you know, don't just try and, because probably even just by telling someone before I went on, like, hey, I don't feel great, you know, just that might alleviate it a bit, rather than being I'm going to try and carry this, you know. So yeah, but then even after, I think I was just knackered. I think I was just, everything caught up with me, you know, and then it's just like, but it's just mental for it to happen whilst playing a festival. But then it did make me think about, like, you know, that alone was, you know, it was a big gig in the scheme of gigs, you know, in terms of like, you're not playing a pub. But then I thought, God, imagine when it happens at a really high level. Do you know what I mean? Because I've heard, I won't name names of drummers I've heard it's happened to, because they might, I don't know, like, but a friend of mine told me.
Every musician of a certain level will have done a gig severely under the weather. Yeah. Feeling like they're going to shit themselves. Yeah. Feeling like they're going to vomit. Yeah. I've seen it. I've seen people vomit on stage, you know. Yeah. Like, or be so unwell they have to play guitar sat down in the corner. Yeah. You know, like it happens. That's life, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it is life. And I think it's amplified by, pardon the pun, by the fact that you are on stage and everything is heightened. You know, if I felt like that, but I was not having to do a gig, but still might have been at work, I could kind of take it easy. Or even if I was at home, you probably wouldn't even notice. You just have a nap, you know. But when you're aware that you have to hold everything together, you go, and if I miss one beat, so then it's just everything gets added to everything. You know, you feel ill, so then you get anxious about missing something, and then you get more anxious. That makes you feel more ill, and then before you know it, it's just get to the end, you know. But but yeah, so that was that. But I thought, you know, as with everything, any bad thing in our lives, you go, well, that'll be great for the pod.
Yeah, what's bad for life is good for the pod.
Exactly.
That's the way it goes.
You got anything, boy?
Yeah, a couple of little bits. I mean, I've done a few. I did a gig in London on Saturday, actually. And it was right in Pall Mall.
Oh, yeah, I remember this.
Yeah, on the Monopoly board. And it was at the Reform Club.
Right.
Not the modern use of the word reform. It's actually a good reform. It was very...
About time.
What's the word? Liberal and forward-thinking members club set up in 1836. And they were the first all-men's club, gentlemen's club, to allow women equal membership.
Right. Wow.
What year do you think that was?
It's going to be weirdly close, isn't it? Because you want to think it's like 1802, but it's going to be like 1958 or something.
1981.
Oh my God! Wow.
Yeah, quite late. But a few things. One, for a central London gig, drive was okay.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we could basically park outside.
Lovely.
It was which was great. Paid for. We just had to pay till 6:30 for parking on the old Ringo.
Yeah.
That was about 45 minutes. That was £6. Anyway, but it was a really incredible space we played in. It was a great wedding. But they had like a crew come in and set up a stage and the dance floor and everything like that. And there was a guy there sort of leading that operation. He seemed nice enough. We were putting our light bar up and he was like, he started adjusting it and it's like, yeah, whatever. And then we're sound checking and he just comes over to the stage and he starts adjusting the uplighter. And we set it at an angle for a reason where it is. Yeah. And he started adjusting it and he just pointed it right in my fucking eyes. And we're sound checking and I'm looking at it and I stopped and I was like, no, I can't see.
Yeah.
And then he was like, oh, what? And he's like, fuck off. What the fuck are you doing? Fuck off, mate.
Yeah.
There's a reason. There's down pointed level. It's in my fucking eyes. That annoyed me.
Yeah, I bet.
Anyway, but it was a pretty good gig. However, this gig and a couple of previous gigs I've done have really made me realise what I like at a gig at weddings. And this is a big thing, and I'm sure you like it, is when you have space behind the drums.
Yeah.
Do you like that?
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah. And that's, you don't always get it.
No,
sometimes
you don't.
You're back against the wall.
But I'd argue that you, Ben Winty, more than most drummers I've ever met, will just make space regardless of how much... I'm pretty sure I did a gig where it was a tiny stage in like a tent, you know, and you were like, I'm going to put my stool there, my kick drum's going to go here, and Archie's like, well, I've got no space. He's like, well, you know, you're a kid, Archie, so deal
you're
with
a
it.
child,
yeah,
and you go wandering out into the crowd anyway. No, I think it's when you got to, sometimes you set up, you got to think about it because you don't want to be like up against the wall. You know, if you're playing up against the back wall, you don't want to be in a position where you're uncomfortable. Because some places you get to play and you're like, is that it? Really? Is that where you want a fucking bands to play?
Yeah.
But what annoys me then, what becomes frustrating is that then you don't have setting up and packing down. There's very little space because you're having to do everything where other band members are, you know.
Yeah.
Thing. But when you've got space behind the drums, you can do all your unpacking there. You could leave your cases there, and when you're taking things off the stage to pack up, it's a lovely job.
Yeah.
So that was just something I kind of liked.
Yeah.
I thought, do you know what? I really like space behind the drums. I tell you what, it fucks me off more than a wall.
Go on.
When you play in a teepee.
Yeah.
and because it's fucking angled,
Yeah,
and they put the stage right,
Yeah.
wedge it right in the point, and you're like, well, yeah, but can't stand up or sit down.
Exactly.
You do the gig like that.
Yeah.
Like, and like to be 40, just fucking hell, think about it.
Do you reckon
please.
that's where your bad posture came from? Playing too many teepees.
I did a teepee gig when I was 16, and just set me off.
You get something like
I
this.
was fucking.
Yeah. Well,
When I saw my surgeon last week for a 6 months checkup on my spine, we said, "Oh, have you got any cool surgeries coming up?" And he was doing a 3-part operation on this elderly woman.
Right.
And him, a member of the Royal College of Surgeons, said she's got a spine like a pretzel,
Brilliant.
which I thought was good.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the medical
No.
term, but he said, "Oh, we were meant to do it a few weeks ago, but she nearly died from the anaesthetic, so we're doing it again next week."
What, as in they were doing the operation then?
Well, they anaesthetised her, and then she just nearly died. So he didn't even cut her open, and you could tell he was gutted because I think that's his favourite bit. Is actually.
Yeah, he gets home and he's just kicking stuff. His wife's like, "You're right." He's like, "Fucking."
He's just getting like watermelons out and just a scalpel, and he's just cutting them. There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
And he fucking died. Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
Other than that, really, my old family home came up for sale.
Oh wow.
I mean, it's been sold. It came up a couple of months ago, but it was funny looking through Rightmove.
Yeah.
Looking at the pictures.
Yeah.
And I lived there from, I think it was like 2 to. My parents moved out when I was like 22 or maybe, so it was like basically grew up there.
Yeah.
My parents did a lot of work to the house when we lived there, but like it's really interesting. I think it's been the same owners since they sold it in 2009, and it's really interesting to see what they've done to it, and it looks a lot better.
Yeah.
2, there's still stuff in there that was ours.
Brilliant.
Like
Amazing.
there's definitely my dad's old desk in the study.
Yeah.
Definitely, I'm 99% sure that was the dining room table and chairs.
Yeah, probably.
We had growing up.
Yeah.
Hot tub's still there.
Great.
But they've made the garden very different. But like that hot tub, I was having parties in that when I was 16.
Yeah.
I'm 41.
Yeah.
And it's still there. That was where we had the coughing competition, the hold your breath competition. Gary wore my dad's sort of bathing suit thong thing,
right?
Because he didn't bring his shorts. Wrote a song that was played on Radio 1 in that house. Those stairs, that's where I broke my elbow. Yeah, it's just so many good memories. So many memories. But what's mental as well is like, growing up, I never thought it was like an extravagant house. It was comfortably sized for a family of 4. There's absolutely no hell's way and chance I could afford that house.
Really?
Like, it's doubled in value since my parents sold it.
Yeah.
And that was almost more than treble what they paid for it.
Yeah.
So it's like, but it feels in a way sad. Like, I can't even afford to buy the house I grew up in.
No, yeah.
It's weird.
I think my parents' house is the same sitch, They're still there, and they bought it in the 90s, Think how much that's gone up. I'd argue nearly 10 times,
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Like, so, Emsworth, you kidding?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
You're wealthy. You know what I mean? Nice part of town, that.
Exactly.
Nice part of town. Right, let's bounce, George, because I've got to get this shit edited before I make my spag bowl.
Yeah.
It's hampering into my spag bowl cooking time.
Yeah, you don't
No
want
end.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you're feeling better now.
No, all good, yeah.
Good. Thanks again for listening, everybody. We're going to be back with a guest next week.
Absolutely. It's an exciting one because in preparation, and he's listened to like every episode since I asked him to be on. So, yeah.
He's caned them in like 2 weeks.
Yes. Which I said to Chris. Chris was like, "Oh, it's Kurt Phillips, by the way, for anyone listening." And I said, "Oh, Kurt apparently has watched, listened to so many. He's like listened to 60, he's told me." Chris was like, "Well, you only do half an hour. It's not really like you put, But
yeah, all right, Chris. You do one. You do half an hour, but it takes an hour and a half to edit.
Well, this is it. We don't have a team,
We don't have a team. We are the team. We are the team. And you are our loyal followers. Thanks so much for listening, George. Glad you're feeling better, mate. And we'll be back next week with Kat. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely.
We'll see you then. Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to Drum and Drummer. You can find us on Instagram at Drum and Drummer Podcast. And you can send us an email to drumanddrummerpod@gmail.com. Remember, just pick up the sticks and twat it.